The balance test full index protocol aims to provide a reliable tool for measuring the risk of falling associated with maintaining the orthostatic position. The risk of falling is a complex event that must be evaluated in a multifactorial way. One of the factors that is associated with the risk of falling is impaired motor control. In this context, it is essential to evaluate the ability of the subject to maintain balance in single stand support. To proceed with a new acquisition from the test section of the patient screen, click on the balance test. Two additional icons will appear immediately. For this test, select the full index icon. As shown by the pop-up, to obtain reliable and repeatable data during the execution of the test, it is necessary to correctly position the sensor on the subject to be evaluated. For the balance test, the sensor must be hooked to the appropriate belt and positioned below the line that connects the two Venous dimples, lumbar sacral passage, at this S1-S2 vertebrae. Once the sensor is positioned, we can continue through the protocol guides, which shows the user how to set the test parameters, how to proceed with the acquisition, and what the different test settings options are. Before starting the acquisition, from the central ring, select left or right to begin the test. In this case, we will run a right test. You are also asked to decide whether to carry out the test with eyes open or eyes closed. For this demonstration, we will select the full index eyes open test. Before starting the acquisition, for the test result to be considered reliable, it is necessary to explain to the subject how to perform the test. Have the subject move into monopodalic stance. Once the patient is ready, start the acquisition by clicking on REC. During the stabilization phase, the patient must remain still, as shown by the stabilization ring. When the bar reaches the end of the progression, the stabilization ring will disappear and the test begins. During the acquisition in the central ring, the movement of the center of mass of our subject will be graphically shown. The operator can decide whether or not to have the screen visible to the subject as a visual feedback tool during the test acquisition. If during the test the subject loses his balance by placing both feet on the ground, click on Stop to end the acquisition. If the subject maintains a single stance equilibrium for the entire time of the test will end automatically when the time finishes. Once the acquisition is completed, save the test by selecting the Save icon. The clinical report of the balance test is then shown, which is made of two main sections. A first section where the various balance indices are shown, and the second section where the movement of the pelvis are highlighted. Furthermore, the operator can add a visual analogic scale to denote if the subject experienced any discomfort during the test.